Well, let me introduce myself. This is me 14 months ago. And on April 7, 2010, I was under custody of very gracious Croatian police. I am no longer under arrest, although all things haven't been cleared up, so I'll try to explain why. Well, this is a crash course on Croatian politics. Well, if you look at this number, yeah, that's it. It always happens like this. Well, this is a small fact that we have a little bit more voters than actual citizens. You know, it's official data. You can check it up. You can start with Wikipedia and check the census data. And everybody knows about this. I mean, it's a well-known fact. It's confirmed by the government. Nobody is having a headache about it in Croatia. And, you know, one of my goals is to have a fair government, and you cannot have a fair government without fair elections, and it's quite hard to have a fair elections without proper voters list. And then I said once on my blog post that if I would be able to get a copy of voters list for Croatia, I would be possibly able to calculate how the voter fraud is actually executed. A few months later, I have received 2 CDs with a voters list of Croatia, and I have made a website, basically a search engine, where you could type your own address for your city or village or your street, and it will show you the addresses in that street or that village and number of people registered to vote on particular address. I mean, I live in the very middle of the capital of Croatia, and I really don't know a single person who is voting twice or more than 2 times in a single election cycle. But there are obviously places in Croatia where that is quite possible and actually quite common. So on the left side of this picture, you can see city of Vrgorac. I mean, I have never been to Vrgorac prior to this affair. I mean, I was able to point in general direction of Vrgorac, but and somewhere in the hills above Vrgorac, there is a small village called Dusine. And if you go there, there was apparently a skyscraper nobody knew about. What happens is that people, because of the loophole in the law and constitution, it was perfectly possible to be registered to live on 2 addresses at the same time, which means that you were able to vote in the morning on one polling place and in the afternoon on the other one. The reasons why people do that are quite wide, from social benefits, school, education, Medicare, stuff like that. But the people who allow them to do it, because this is illegal even in Croatia, people who allow them to do it, they say, okay, you can take all the money, but please, you have to vote for us on next elections. And this is exactly what they do. So after we published this website, the end result for me was that I received World Democracy Award awarded to me in French Parliament. I got to spend some time with Croatian police chatting about voter issues. But more importantly, in June of 2010, Croatia was actually forced to change the constitution, and there are some laws regulating place of residence which are changed, and that's pending now. Thank you. And if you thought that was fun. Well, we had war in Croatia. You probably, if you watch CNN, we were quite a good part of the 90s there. So after the war ended, the official record said that we had like 350,000 soldiers during the whole course of the war. And today we have 550,000 of them. So by now you should notice a trend happening in Croatia. And these 200 surplus war veterans, which never actually saw the war, are quite problematic because the government spends $1.4 billion per year on benefits for these people. and this is highly controversial issue. So on April 6th of 2010, someone, I'm not going to tell you who because there is a 10 years in prison for that lucky owner of this website, published the war veteran list. And there you can either type on the left side of the screen, you can see you can either type your name, or on the right side there is also possibility to choose your unit and day. And what will happen, it will show you the war record for that particular person. For example, the top, Tomislav Ivić is quite common name in Croatia. And the top guy, you can see his war record and units he was engaged in. And the problem with this guy, Tomislav Ivić, is that there are approximately 292 days in his war record, which nobody actually can remember seeing him there. Additional problem for this particular Tomislav Ivić that he happens to be a minister of war veterans in Croatia. So, well, I believe that by now you understand that there were like 200,000 very, very angry people. And if you check the website number 1 and check website number 2, and if it's a database, if it's politics, and if it's internet, it should be Marko. So 14 hours after the website was launched, I was in a police station talking to very nice police officers, and a few hours later I was arrested for high treason or something. The funny thing about Croatian legal system, I was shocked. I was shocked for first of all, I said to the guys when they decided to arrest me, what are you going to do? Do you want me to be a last political dissident in Europe? It doesn't make sense. And the other thing is that when they arrest you in Croatia, they don't have to tell you why they arrested you, which was surprising for me. So just to understand the scale of importance of this particular issue is, if you recall, there were like 2.5 million internet users in Croatia, and this particular website was visited 12 million times in the first 15 days of its existence. This is the most popular website in Croatia for a long, long time to come, because simply we don't have enough citizens to visit anything else. So, what happened to me, I was arrested for like 8 hours and 40 minutes, to be frank, so it wasn't so bad. I was released after the midnight, and the reason why I was released, because there were 500 journalists turning themselves in and claiming they have actually published the War Veteran Registry. And of course, there were a few thousand phone calls from people all over the Croatia to say they have published it as well. So police was a little bit confused. To make it even more clear, when the president died, the major newspaper, they have printed one special edition of newspapers. When the Pope died, they printed one. When I was arrested, I got 2 editions, so bonus for me. So the lesson of this is basically this one. At 2009 and especially in 2010, it wasn't so clear. It's clear today that single person or a very small group of motivated people can make even governments bleed, and that's a fact. And even Croatian government can bleed, and they are in pain now. So after that, I have moved to other projects, and this is basically a political landscape of San Francisco, which is a role model for the software I'm trying to do in Croatia. Unfortunately, the databases are required from the government, which are defined as open and freely accessible by law. The government refuses to give these databases to me because, they said basically it's not going to happen. We have learned what will happen when we give you away the databases, and we strongly suspect you are not telling us the whole story, which is true. But as I said to them, if you won't give it away, I'm going to take some money and bribe someone to give me information which should be free in the first place. So this project is pending. But I have one other project which is 100% legal, and it's called State Budget Calculator. Unfortunately, it's full in Croatian, but I have entered some explanation. So if you enter your monthly salary in the top top spot, top left, then you will see that your screen is divided to two sides. One is the taxes collected, income of the government. The other one is expenditures of the government, whatever they may be. And you have a lot of sliders of different kinds, and you can actually fire or hire people. For example, I was personally motivated to fire a lot of people from police and the army. And in the green boxes, you can see how much of your money actually goes to a particular expense or particular income of the government. And I believe this is crucially important, because when you start talking about millions and billions, a normal person who is not an economist cannot really relate to that to that number. So if you know that 20,000 of your US dollars or Croatian kuna or whatever is spent on Medicare or pensions or social services, that this is a figure you can relate to. And this particular project was highly successful. In the end, it will show you the difference between the government proposal and your own proposal. Of course, you can share it, and in this particular case, I have managed to fire 19,440 people, which is 6.22% of the government's workforce, which is a quite good result. This project is currently in Croatian only, but if anyone is interested to make it their own, just go for it. Call me, and I'll make it available to you. So, on Sunday, on a speaker's cocktail, someone asked me, well, after all the harassment I received courtesy of Croatian government, are you still living in Croatia? And well, yes, I do. In fact, I'm not even thinking of moving elsewhere. And there is one basic, very personal, and actually quite selfish reason why I won't move. And that's because I want Croatia to be a better place to live. Thank you.